Okay, moving on. I've got one bonus question for you, but real quick, let's break down Real Housewives of New York. All of this casting questions that keep coming up. Everyone has an opinion. I seem to feel that when I watched your show, you and Ebony have such a connection. A couple questions for you. Who should be in the legacy Real Housewives of New York, or who should be in the new redone series? And why do you think Ebony took such a hit? I watched your interview in particular, you and her. I just love the way you two talk to each other. And I think she stopped down in the middle of the interview and she goes, "Oh, well, it's because we could do legal advice." Like there was this whole like legal lawyer connection that made you guys feel so warm with each other. And I just cannot get out of my head, especially watching Beyond the Edge on CBS a little bit, where she was on as well, that her tagline is exactly what she went through. Her tagline, which people thought was whatever, was exactly what, I have to do this much more to get half the credit. Did it hurt you to hear all the criticism as if it was Ebony's fault for the season not being good?
I just don't get it. Now, she's an example of someone that I'm friends with in the real world, and it's through this job. I mean, we didn't know each other before this. She's been on my show like 4 times because I have some unaired episodes with her that are coming up soon. But we just bonded on the first one. Yeah, like she took. I don't, right from the get go, I think maybe because I was a lawyer, she just treated me, not that being a lawyer should get you treated anyway, but she just treated
She
me.
understood
Yeah,
you.
it was like this respect, and we sparred, and she's quick, and just then she came back, and we just became friends. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. So, but even that aside, I don't understand it. I, first of all, didn't dislike Real Housewives of New York as much as everyone else in the world.
Same.
I don't look, was it their best season ever? No. I think the OC just had a bad season, and this season of Atlanta is going. I didn't understand all the rage. That's the first thing. The second thing is everyone cries when it's fake, 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 fake. Whoever you hire for the job, like this is Ebony. What you saw is really, truly, authentically her. So what's wrong with that? I mean, I love when someone's not thirsty. I love when someone is not going to change for the show, right? So she's basically saying like I could change, but I'm not going to. Like these things that she spoke of and stands by, like that is authentically her. So she could have changed. She could have said, "Wait, nobody likes me. I'm going to shut up and not talk about this anymore because this fame, this paycheck down the road." But she's like, "I'm not shutting up. This is what?" Like, so,
Yeah.
and speaking to her, like to her, she's like, "This platform is bigger than me. It's so how could you not like that? I
There's
don't get it. I
yeah.
don't get it."
She had a polarizing personality, but nothing she said should have knocked anyone to that degree. And if anyone did get knocked to that degree of confusion or uninterest, that's a bigger picture. And another thing I do want to mention, I thought of this from the years of radio that I worked. I once worked a radio station where I felt like I got hired, and I didn't know it at the time, but later on I got hired to be a sort of like a this personality versus that personality. And when it didn't work, the radio show was over. I got let go. I kind of look at it in an interesting, similar way. The show did not need to follow all of that with Ebony. That was a choice. That was a production choice. That was in the Bible. That was where they wanted to go. They wanted to say, well, the world is talking about this. Let's redeem some of that. So somebody at the top, I don't want to knock production or Bravo or whatever, thought that this was going to be, wow, we're seeing all these conversations on Twitter. Let's make that part of our show. They didn't need to do that. So she's not a monolith. She's not a one. She has lots to peel from. So I just am like, within it all, I'm like, I hope they give her an apple. She could go in the front. I was never really into Leah. I think Leah sort of dropped the ball in a couple situations. I remember Leah used to do a podcast with the great Laura Stiles, also from radio. And then the second season, they stopped doing that. If anything, I would like to see Laura Stiles join the show because Laura Stiles just had a baby, just bought a home in Brooklyn, and has been on the radio for so many years. She's Guatemalan. She's fantastic and such a great powerhouse as a media personality. Bring in a Laura Stiles. Anyways, that leads me to my question because we were talking about Ebony. Who do you want to see? My choices are Olivia Palermo. We, of course, saw, her fashion work today and every day. We saw her on The City. And then there's something that really is engaging me about Amber Sabathia. Amber Sabathia is the wife of Cece Sabathia, a former Yankee who's still involved in all the stuff. To me, maybe something like that could be very, New York rich feeling. Not rich like money, but texture wise. She's good friends with Angie Martinez, also from radio. Obviously, I mentioned a lot of radio stuff because that's the industry that I follow. And Amber Sabathia has done a lot of different things, charitable things, different events, be it the sports world, be it, kind of giving back to the community. She maintains this beautiful family. And I think Amber Sabathia and Olivia Palermo would be my first two choices. What do you think?
Well, a couple of things. I first of all think if there was the only person that possibly has a shred of a chance of being in this new show is Ebony. It's not going to be any OGs. And Leah, don't let the door hit you on the way out. She's not on brand for this show. Sorry.
She had a case of the trying too hards, I think.
Way too hard, too desperate, and not authentic.
Yeah.
She loved Ebony until she realized the world hated her, and then she tossed her to the street. That's really what happened. I don't think Ebony is going to be on it. I really think they're going to start over. Look, it has to be a diverse group of friends. They're not going to say Ebony's black, Olivia's white, here's someone Asian. It's going to really be like Salt Lake, where it's a group of people that know each other. Apparently, they're having a hard time finding that. I think that Olivia Palermo is it. Does she have a black friend? Sorry, this is the reality. It's not going to be a white cast, everybody. Does she have an Asian friend? Does she have anything else? Olivia, get her, sign her up because she is so... Look, and I do think New York could be like Beverly Hills. The problem with New York, to me, is none of the women were really rich. Yeah, Ramona has some assets, but I'm talking like Diana Jenkins, like Beverly Hills rich. I think people love to see really rich housewives. It lets them escape. You have access to this in New York. You can have Olivia's the real deal. She goes to charity events and she has if she has a core group of diverse friends, she would be so perfect. She would make great TV. She's so captivating to watch. I say yes to her times 10, really. And I do think Ebony and repackaged, the viewers would love her. I just don't think that Bravo's going to do that. It's just kind of like they're talking about the OG show. I don't think Heather Thompson's going to be part of it. I think she is now chastised because she came back and that whole thing. It's just sometimes, in the entertainment business, you do one thing, you don't say no, but sometimes you can't do the next thing because of what you did. And the next thing is a bigger opportunity, but you can't look back. I don't think it's going to be Ebony just because she was already there. It is associated with this dark cloud of season 13. I think it's going to be a totally new cast. And I think Olivia would be just, I can't think of anyone even remotely better.
One of your shows, you were talking about the Housewives of New York. Maybe it was right when the news dropped, and that was one of the things I Instagram messaged to you, and you seem to be very into it. And there's just something so great about it because she checks all the boxes, as you said a second ago. It was a term you used. It's I'll never forget her disdain for the downtown crowd when she was on The City, and just the way she's got a good side eye. The problem though is you have people that are like Olivia who don't need the show or the money per se. So, are they going to want to get in all the mess? That's kind of the thing. Sonia keeps saying yes to it, so they keep bringing her on. But who of a higher stature is going to really want to do it? That's I guess that's the age-old question. But I really get mad, and I just wish they had a show. I think all of this is such bullshit. My gosh, season 13 wasn't that bad. And if it was bad, call it the unlucky season. Move on. Should have given a reunion. And if you didn't give a reunion, and the people that wanted to show up, let's say Ebony wanted to show up, give her a special. To your point, I did a podcast right when everything was announced, and I said, if I was Ebony, I don't know if I'd even want to do Housewives in New York, getting robbed of all that. I would, however, want to start something new, maybe even in the Blood, Sweat, and Heels vein, that did very well. And then it kind of had a really weird second season, but start something new, start something fresh. Uptown, I used to live on 145th. So there's magic up there. Like, to me, I think that's even the goal. If she'd be interested in it, because it could sort of sound like a demotion, but leading your own show, I don't know.
I just think like, yeah, I really don't know what was so bad about season 13 either. I mean, you think the last season of the OC was better? You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, man.
and I also think like you kind of shot your load, Bravo. It's kind of like we can't keep having 2.0 and a version. It's interesting because I thought this the other day. Now it's just coming back to me. I wonder if this whole Jersey Shore thing is based on Bravo. I mean, what Bravo did is brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. I'm not sure the OG show is ever going to see the light of day. And if it does, I'm not sure it's going to be a real thing. Like a special, maybe, right? Of like 6 episodes or 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to go on. Like, I think people are confused. Like the new rebranded Housewives of New York, that's what's going to go on forever and ever and ever if it does well with a whole new cast. This OG show, I think we're going to have on Peacock 8 episodes of maybe it's like Luann's, 60th birthday or something, you know what I mean? I'm not like a girls trip might go, we'll see how it does, but I think it's just a brilliant marketing thing by Bravo to say like, oh, you're going to get 2. So before everyone jumps on us to 5, look, it's brilliant. They had to do this. You can't like fire Ramona, it's like you had to start over. But I think it's not a real thing. I think Olivia is great. There's nobody else that really comes to the top of my mind. And Olivia's the right age too, right? Isn't she like late 30s, early 40s?
I mean, you have a chance to make it as refined as it was, fresh. I'm not opposed to older on the Bravo version. That's my only thing I do want to say. If everything that's going to go to Peacock is going to be, Sonia, Dorinda, Ramona age group, fine, because that's the legacy show. But I wouldn't mind. I mean, maybe there's an Olivia, maybe there's an aunt of hers. There was always something very interesting. I didn't really love Tinsley, but I love Tinsley's mom being in the mix. Whatever they do, I don't think the answer is trying to make a show where everyone's 34 years old. I think I still want the regal, refined. Olivia could lead it, but I still wouldn't mind, the 45-year-old aunt or the friend or something like that, the in-law.
I agree. I mean, I like my housewives older. I mean, wasn't that the whole point of Housewives? To put women on TV that are in their 50s and 60s and late 40s that are the forgotten category in entertainment. I just think Bravo's directive is like late 30s, early 40s. And I don't think they're going to mix ages anymore. I think that's part of the whole problem. Damn. Even on Beverly Hills. I mean, Kyle? Somebody just made a comment I think it was Kyle in her confessional, like, what is Crystal, a millennial? I mean, you don't think about it, but Crystal's late 30s, maybe she seems older, and Kyle is 50s and maybe seems younger, but that's an age difference, and I have a weird feeling it's good they're looking for like a approximate age group. I like older housewives. I just think that's not where Bravo's gonna go.
Well, as long as they anchor it with someone like Olivia Palermo. I was listening to the great Jessica with Hot Takes and Deep Dives, and they said Jenna Lyons would be a great choice. And that is a great choice, but I almost feel like Jenna is too big for the show too. But anyone could do it, really. But it's just, hopefully it's somebody good, like Jenna or like Olivia.
I don't think they're going to go with someone famous. That's just like, I don't know how it came up on my show. Everyone was saying like Julia Fox, like,
No, thank you. No.
It's like you're jumping the shark before it, like, let's not forget, like, we didn't know who Meredith Marks was or Lisa Barlow or Jen. Like, it's got to be unknown. And like, okay, Olivia is known, but it's different. I mean, she's not like Julia Fox has too much current. Like, let's listen. Olivia Palermo, as do I, because we're in the biz and pop culture. The average person isn't going to know Olivia Palermo. I don't mean that as an insult. I just mean like it's a different time period. These kids don't know. It's like she's perfect and someone like that.
Why are the networks so afraid to make a decision? Like they are just expecting you have a trillion followers. We'll put you on our show. It's going to translate. It never does. You know what? What was that great photo we saw this week? We saw Anna Wintour with Amanda Lepore. Put Amanda Lepore on. I mean, let's play this game. You know, put the great Amanda Lepore on the freaking show. Let her lead. You know.
And that is the thing. If you're going for diversity and this and that, I mean, eventually, like, okay, you have Julia on Miami. Like, keep looking for like lesbian housewives, trans housewives. You know, just. But it's. I really think that they want an authentic group of people that know each other.